Would they survive the night? Would they ever find peace and safety? Only time would tell. Pina and Kuma had found refuge in the village of Jenna, a place far enough from Nkambe to start afresh. Their days were filled with hard work and simple pleasures, their love growing stronger with each passing moment. The villagers welcomed them warmly, unaware of their past, and they quickly became an integral part of the community. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the village, Pina and Kuma sat by the riverbank, reminiscing about their journey. Pina's eyes sparkled with happiness, yet a hint of concern lingered in her heart. "Kuma, do you think they'll ever come looking for us?" she asked, her voice tinged with worry. Kuma squeezed her hand reassuringly. "We are far from Nkambe, Pina. They won't find us here. We are safe." But fate had other plans. Unbeknownst to them, a merchant from Nkambe, passing through Jenne, recognized Pina. He hurried back to Nkambe, eager to relay the news to Ntembe. Back in Nkambe, Ntembe was furious. His pride had been wounded, and he vowed to bring his daughter back, no matter the cost. He gathered a group of loyal men and set off for Jenna, determined to retrieve Pina. Meanwhile, life in Jenna continued peacefully. Pina and Kuma were blissfully unaware of the storm brewing on the horizon. One day, while Pina was tending to their garden, a shadow fell over her. She looked up to see a stranger, a man from her past. "Pina," he said, his voice filled with urgency. "Your father is coming for you. You must leave at once." Fear gripped Pina's heart. She ran to find Kuma, her mind racing with thoughts of escape. They packed their belongings hastily, preparing to flee once more. As they made their way through the forest, the sound of hoofbeats grew louder. Ntembe and his men were closing in. Pina's heart pounded in her chest as they quickened their pace, the dense foliage providing some cover. Suddenly, they reached a cliff's edge. Below, the river roared fiercely, its waters churning with deadly force. There was no way forward, and their pursuers were closing in fast. "Kuma, what do we do?" Pina cried, panic in her voice. Kuma looked at her with steely determination. "We jump," he said. "It's our only chance." Pina nodded, trusting him completely. Hand in hand, they leaped off the cliff, plunging into the icy waters below. The current was strong, pulling them apart. Pina struggled to keep her head above water, searching for Kuma. Her vision blurred, and darkness began to close in. Meanwhile, Ntembe and his men reached the cliff's edge, looking down at the turbulent river. They saw no sign of Pina or Kuma. "They cannot have survived that," one of the men said. Ntembe's face was a mask of anguish and rage. "Search the riverbanks. We must find them," he ordered. As Pina's consciousness faded, a pair of strong arms pulled her to safety. Kuma had found her, and with his last ounce of strength, he dragged her to the shore. They lay there, exhausted and battered by the river's force, but alive. However, their relief was short-lived. As they caught their breath, the sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the forest. Ntembe and his men were relentless, and they were closing in. "Kuma, they're coming," Pina whispered, her voice filled with dread. Kuma looked around desperately, searching for a way out. The forest was dense, but there was a narrow path leading deeper into the woods. "This way," he said, helping Pina to her feet. They stumbled along the path, their bodies weary but their spirits unbroken. The forest grew darker and more foreboding, the shadows closing in around them. They knew they couldn't keep running forever. Just as hope seemed to be slipping away, they stumbled upon a hidden cave. Kuma led Pina inside, the darkness swallowing them whole. They held each other close, listening to the distant shouts of their pursuers. For now, they were safe. But as the shadows deepened and the night grew colder, they knew this was just the beginning of their trials. Their love would be tested in ways they could never have imagined, and the journey ahead was fraught with danger. But they had each other. And as long as they were together, they believed they could face anything. The sound of footsteps grew fainter, and the forest fell silent once more. Pina and Kuma held their breath, hoping their hiding place would remain undiscovered. The suspense hung in the air, thick and palpable. Would they survive the night? Would they ever find peace and safety? Only time would tell, and their fate hung in the balance, waiting for the dawn.